believe that trauma can be a strong motivator. That I have seen with very successful people was that there was trauma. And in my case, I lost my father when I was very young, and I was raised by my mother. From my very earliest memories, I was basically pushed in a role of taking responsibility for the family. Not great for a child, obviously, but certainly a big contributor and a driver in my motivation.
I was very blessed, to be honest, to grow up in an environment where my parents gave me a lot of freedom at a fairly early stage to do things that required a certain level of risk-taking. I remember as a maybe 12, 13 years old boy, my parents let me go camping, but right across the country with no reservations, no hotel bookings, and come back 3 weeks later. But that kind of thing really gives you, in retrospect, the confidence to just go out there, be adventurous, try different things. I think in leadership or in business, you cannot be emotional. But on the other hand, leadership is all about emotions, right? And you're dealing with people, and people have hearts and minds, and you've got to work both of those equally. My style of leadership is very emotions-based, actually. I do want to understand people, understand what their personal motivations are.
I think you're spot on. You could immediately take over the F1 team, because it is what we do, where people are empowered and trust you. You can extract the best performance of them, and you can only do that if they feel safe. There's even a management style about making a joke about yourself at the beginning of a tough meeting. It releases the tension, and all these values I have seen with you.
It's probably very unique in Formula One, because it's perceived as quite a macho sport, that a leader of a team can appear to be vulnerable. When you show that you're human, people connect to you. There are times you need to show that vulnerable side, but at the other times you need to show such a high level of confidence and belief in what you're doing that you're ready to make very tough decisions and go it alone if required.
Yes, you need to recognize that on the top of the mountain it's cold and you're lonely, but the view is great.
In leadership, there's approachability and then there's openness. Openness is when you can admit that you're wrong and let somebody else's idea take over the situation.
Neuroscience shows us that if there is disagreement, your brain goes in a combat mode. Disagreement means that the immediate reaction is, I don't like it. And what we try to achieve is, rather than going into combat mode and therefore closing up, is approaching the other person with respect, being curious about understanding why somebody might have a different view, and then being brutally honest in the conversation you're having about it.